Okay, so we're going to talk about how to do costumes, how to change, basically how to create animations here. So we're really going to be doing this looks tab here and kind of integrating it with everything else. Okay, so first things first, I have a turtle here. So I can click on my sprite over here, and then I can click on the costumes tab. Now, first I'm going to select some pre-made costumes here. Okay, so maybe I'm going to do, I can just look around in here. Maybe I like an animal with more than one costume. Let's see. Oh, here's Bat A and Bat B. And you can already tell as I switch between these, it looks like the bat is flapping. Notice the body stays still, but the wings change. That's all animation or video is, right? It's still pictures switching about 60 to 200 times per second, or even lower frame rates than that. But there's some amount of pictures per second that just keep switching, and your human eyes put those together to see an animation. So what we could do really quickly is we could just say, when I click the flag, forever, so there's nothing going on here. I'm not like controlling it with my mouse or keyboard. It's just going to forever do this. What I want to do is I want to create a wait, but I'll do that after. And then I'm just going to switch. Next costume, we'll go to the next one and then loop back to the beginning when it reaches the end. There might be 7 or 8 costumes, maybe 100 costumes. All right, so let's just do this. And again, I could either click the block here or I could click the start flag. Clicking the block will only activate that block and nothing else. I could unselect it, and now I could start the entire program. But notice it's insanely fast, right? I don't know how many times per second that's happening. We could create a variable and actually have it counting how many times per second, which would be interesting. But what we could do is just put a fraction of a second in here. So maybe like something like 1/10 of a second. And now looks a little more natural, right? Now what we could do is we could have this only happen when I move. We could leave it like this. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a separate character. So I'm going to drag this up here. Notice there's a draggable option right here that you could uncheck, and then I can't drag it. It's kind of a way to cheat in other people's video games. If they leave on draggable, you'd be like, oh, I'm going to play, and you just pick up the character, put the character at the end. Okay, so let's create another sprite here. So I'm going to leave that one on the screen. I'm going to create another. And what I want to do is actually, I want to find a sprite sheet online. So let's do, I don't know, dog sprite sheet. And let's see what comes up. Whoa, look at all these dogs here, right? And I want to go to color, and select transparent. I want transparent background. Now this isn't perfect, but it's a start. So, ooh, look at this dog. So let's see if it's actually transparent. Doesn't look like it. As I move this around, you can see it has a white background on it. So that's not what I want. Let's see. I don't know. Is there, a little pug? A little puggy wuggy? And look, as I move this around, there's no background. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to save this awesome art of a pug. Okay, I'm just going to save it to my desktop here. It's got a great name, bunch of just garbled letters. Now I'm going to go back over here, and while clicking on this sprite, I'm going to go to import, and that's just any file, and I'm going to import this picture. Now it comes in as a single costume, so we're going to have to split this up. Now there's no built-in like awesome Sprite Splitter editor. You can Google Sprite Sheet Splitter, and there's tons of different websites that'll automatically do this for you. Or you could do it in like Photoshop or something. I like, just because we're beginning here, what I do is I just duplicate this a bunch, okay? And then for each image, I edit it. And what I do is I just get rid of all the ones I don't want. So I go big square of transparency. And I don't know, let's just keep the first one. So then I'm going to get rid of all these. Again, the common mistake is people leaving stray pixels here, which then just messes with everything. So I'm going to a couple times slowly make a rectangle. I'll even do a circle here and really try and drag and erase all that. Then I'm going to do another square, and I'm going to get rid of this one. Now, the thing people forget is they forget to reset the center. So the center of this costume is currently over here. So if I were to rotate this, this dog would rotate around this circle, and it would be like, you'd be like, wait, why isn't it going where I want? And it's turning all crazy. So make sure you set the center. Like I'm going to do right above the front legs, maybe. Just, I want an easy to find place. Oh, I've got somebody at the door. Okay, I'm back. So I'm going to put this center somewhere where I can easily get back to, because you don't want the character to flicker left to right. So trying to keep the center in the same spot. is really helpful. Okay, so there's my center. I'm going to click OK. If all went well, I should have gotten a really big picture of the pug. See how it's still small? What that means is I've still got some stray pixels there somehow on the side, and that's the most frustrating thing about editing sprites in this, and that's why it might be better to just open it up in Photoshop or GIMP or an online sprite editor to get it the most accurate. Okay, anyway, so I'm going to leave that. Oh, look, and I got that last stray pixel. So now it's bigger. Oh, I'm going to name this Pug. So my sprite has a nice name, and over here I'm going to name this Bat. Okay, so now over here on my pug, I'm going to create the next costume. So again, I just keep duplicating this main sprite sheet. And then what I do is I edit this one, and I'm going to now erase all of them except for the second one. And this will hopefully give me a nice smooth running animation. And I'm going to do this for all of the sprites. So what I'll do is I'll pause the video and do this so you don't have to watch me do it, because it's just going to be the same thing each time. Okay, I'm going to choose the center after I've erased all the others. Again, I'm going to put it like right over the front leg there, and I should get a big picture. I did not, so I'm going to erase those. All right, I'll pause it. When I'm done, I'll come back. Actually, you know what? I'm going to show you guys an alternate way, just so you guys can see. So I'm on a Windows 10 machine. I have some more advanced software on here, but not everybody does, right? And so you could just open Paint 3D. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go with, whoops, let's go back. Let's just open here, browse files. And then on my desktop, I'm going to open this up. Okay, so you see this image? Well, all you do is crop it, right? Just say, okay, here's my first image. Okay, hit enter. Oh, enter doesn't work. I guess you have to hit done. Okay, and then I'm going to, I haven't used this program in forever. Here's menu. And then I'm just going to save that as an image. And I'm going to put it as image 1, okay? Then what I'm going to do is I'm just going to hit Control Z and undo it. And then I'm going to crop a different one. So here's the picture 2. Okay, and then I'd love if I could just hit enter. Oh, it worked this time. And then I'm just going to go in here and I'm going to save as an image, and this one's going to be 2. And that way I can quickly edit these in a, let's say, a much better photo editor. So I get all the separate sprites from my sprite sheet. Okay, I'm going to pause this and do all the rest. Okay, I just finished cropping the 10th image there. So now I'm going to go back over here. I'm going to delete all of these on my pug, and I'm going to import those other images. Okay, so let's go to import. And let's see, we can only select one at a time. So we're going to have to import each of these 10 one at a time. And you'll see they're coming in order, which is great. Again, I'm going to pause for a second and finish. Okay, so I just imported the 10 images. Just double checking, they're in order, they're all in there. Now you have 2 ways to kind of shrink this dog down, because right now it's too big for the stage. So one option is you can go in and edit, and you can hit this shrink button right here. Now, I would strongly recommend against this, because this has to like estimate pixel averages as it's changing and resizing. And now if I try and blow it back up, just from shrinking and blowing it back up, this is what it looks like after one time. It's like you threw it in a blender and now out came that, right? So don't use the sprite editor, shrink and expand. Instead, use this set size to on the scripts. So if you want this to be smaller, then as soon as the game starts, just always set the size the same smaller. So maybe, I don't know, like 40%, and that's too small. I want like 60%. There we go. So that's the dog size I want. Okay, and then I'm gonna do something like forever. And I'm just gonna put in there's the wait time. I move my mouse all over the screen as I'm looking. And then I want to change to the next costume, right? Because it's in a loop. That was the nice thing about the sprite sheet. There's next costume. Okay, so next costume. Wait a fraction of a second. Now what I haven't done is picked out the centers of these. So we'll see how it works by default. Hey, works pretty good already. It's a little jittery, but the centers actually came out pretty nice. So look at that. Now I want to speed that up just a little bit so it looks a little more natural. So let's make this smaller. So you could think about this as 0.10. So I'm going to change that 0.10 to like 0.06. Oh, that's looking better. 0.04. There we go. That's what I want. Okay, so then what I could do is just start moving this around, right? So one thing you could do is just as it's doing this, you could start moving it to the side. Now, I don't want to make any assumptions about where it's pointing, so let's, at the beginning, always point it to the right. And then let's move it like, I don't know, 3 steps at a time. That's pretty good. It doesn't look as natural, maybe like 6. That's more natural. Now, it went out of the screen. We want to bring it back. So an easy way to have a sprite run smoothly out of one side of the screen and come back is, now you could use this if touching the edge. I totally recommend against this though, because there's 4 different edges that should have 4 different behaviors. Sometimes it works, right? Like a ball bouncing. You could use one edge bounce that does a cool angle, but instead, better is, all we're sensing is did it go out the right side of the screen. So the right side of the screen is its position went to the right. So in terms of the position, that's the X position only, not the Y, not the direction. So we're just going to say if, and then we're going to compare things. We're going to say if the X position ever gets big enough. So if it ever gets bigger than, so 180 is the edge of the screen, but if we did that, we'd be detecting what was halfway out of the screen. So let's make up a number all the way out of the screen, maybe like this. Then what we want to do is just put it on the left side of the screen. So again, we don't want to say go to, because that would override the Y position. All we want to do is just change the X. So we'll say, okay, so if it ever goes out of the right side, then let's set it to the left side, and we'll just put that in here. And let's see how this looks. Oh yeah, look at that little puggy wuggy. Okay, let's see. Oh yeah, that's not far enough out of the screen. Let's do like 250 and maybe negative 250. And we could definitely clean up this jitteriness by resetting the centers. And I could speed this up a little bit more. Oh yeah, look at that. Oh, I definitely have to speed up that, or fix that jitteriness. Okay, so what I would do here is I just stop and I go through all of these costumes and pick the center. And I go, okay, yeah, that does look like a good center. But then as I go to the next one, I'm thinking this dog is getting a little lower. So where's the center? Oh yeah, that's not the right center. I wanted it a little back here, kind of more the center of the body. And then this one, let's see where the center is. Oh yeah, now it's off. I definitely wanted it more like back here because the dog kind of moves forward. And I don't know how this is going to look. So, oh yeah, now I want it back here behind those back or front legs. And then as I edit this one, I want it, now it's a little more here because it pushed off of that middle. Okay. And then let's see this one. Oh, so I wanted it more like here as it jumps. Okay. And then here's the one where it starts to be different. Now, I want it to actually jump up, so now the center is going to be a little lower. As it starts to jump up, it's like the center becomes like at the stomach. Yeah, so more like this maybe. And then let's see if I get rid of the jitteriness or if I make it worse. We'll see how my art skills are here, okay? And then last one here is like this, okay? So let's see how that works. Nope, still pretty jittery. But that's what we can play with. So I made a cute little pug that runs across the screen, goes out one side, comes back in the other. Well, I hope you enjoyed that video, you guys.